I am a savage. I am truly and totally a savage. It's either a knife or a bow.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm totally a knife or a bow guy. Knives. I'm not like I'm certainly not skilled with a knife, but there is something very visceral on a knife that I really enjoy. And as far as the bow and arrow, it's quiet. It's the thing is when you shoot, it's just you and the target, and it's actually very very relaxing. I imagine axe throwing is going to be very much like clay pots. The thunk of the axe hitting the target or not even hitting the target is going to be very, very satisfying for you. It's going to be like, it's the sound I needed to hear. It makes me feel good about life and the universe again. And it's also that physical exertion, right?
Yep.
It's that physical exertion. It's that give me a second here as I'm getting it. So if I go into if I'm on my Facebook, I can actually respond to comments on the Facebook as that's what we're doing. But no, there's like I remember. Oh, come on.
Echo.
There it is. Come on. Expand so I can actually hit the pause button and let people kind of do their thing. There we go. Done. You do know us, Jay. How you doing? Yes, Jay knows us. Jay knows us. He says hi. So hi Jay. Yeah. So no, like for me, there is. I remember when I was at university. I remember it was in Northern Pioneer College in Arizona. So the week before exams, the killing pot was going. So they have all this like crap at the end of this year. Like when you're going doing art, so you got all this leftover stuff. They would charge a quarter to just break the glass, like just totally break. And honestly, there was something about that sound that was so nice. It just kind of resets you, right? Like for most of us, not me because I'm truly crazy, but most of us have been very stressed out about the state of the world, and we've all dealt with it in our own really our own ways. In my case, I started drawing. In your case, because I feel this is your nature, you are super responsible and dependable and reliable and stuff, and you are very often that pillar that keeps everything together. And because that has been you for so long, you're like, I got this, and as a result, your arms are really, really big and muscular and strong and stuff. And this is the way it goes. This is how it is. This is how it goes. But here's the thing: you are so busy, and it's one way it's good for you because you're doing something kind of constructive. It takes your mind off, whatever's going on, and that's great. But then on the flip side, it's like, oh God, like I need stress relief. Where do I go for that? What do I do for that? And because everybody else has already had their meltdowns, I mean, you're like, I don't want to burden you with my problems because you're going to crumple again. I don't want to do that to you. So, my arms are really big because I can carry shit. And eventually you yourself tire. So for you, it's going to feel very, 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 very nice.
Destroying stuff is definitely going to be my stress relief. I've been wanting to go to a rec room too for a long, long time. So I'm trying to find one of those like, the rage rooms, the rec rooms where you basically pay to destroy stuff. What is that movie? Office Space.
Yes.
Seen in Office Space. Oh my God. I want to go do that so badly because that I think would be the ultimate stress relief for me.
Oh yeah, no, it's there again. We are creators and we are also destroyers, but we have to. There is a certain equilibrium to it. Like I said, I'm a savage. I like silence when I'm being violent. There's a certain set like that's me. That's who I am. You want to shatter shit, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just you got to be true to who you are.
I'm so looking forward to it, but I still have the responsibility side. I've got to get my work done. So I have the rest of today. I have all of tomorrow, and the first half of Friday to finish my work for the week, so I can go out and have fun.
Yes, I have. So I've been pitching so I had this really, really eureka moment with my podcast, which was like, I interview a lot of people, like a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I have access to like tons of information, like just snippets of little conversation.
No blackmail. You're not making money from blackmail.
No. I am not. See, I actually, truthfully, I despise blackmail. Blackmail is the least efficient way to get work. I'm a big believer in bribery. Bribery makes everybody happy by and large because, see, I get what I want, you get something out of it, and you're gonna let me just do my thing because it's in your best interest. I truly believe in enlightened self-interest, right? I think that's the way to go. Here's the problem with blackmail. It wears thin. You blackmail somebody once, you might be able to get away with it. You blackmail somebody twice, they're starting to get really irritated with you. Blackmail 3 times, 4 times. There comes a point with blackmail, they just say, fuck you, and they won't cooperate anymore. Bribery, on the other hand, yes, prices is negotiable, and you have to be a little bit more of a negotiator there sometimes. But it's generally, like, everybody looks at you much more fondly that way. Hey, listen, you walked into, Joe, you want to know what kind of conversation I walked into? I was going to go off, honestly, innocently about interviewing people and what I've learned from them, and she automatically brought up blackmail. And, like, I would blackmail people. Like, honestly, what I'm telling you is...
I saw the conversation heading towards that because you were talking about how much dirt you have on people.
No, I had information, not dirt. I didn't say a damn... And honestly, speaking of enlightened self-interest, it always is. Rule number 1, guys, it's always case. Katie has just a devious mind, see? You also missed her talking about destroying shit there, Joe. She's talking about, like, throwing axes. And listen, I hope, you know, when she throws them, you don't, not too close to anybody you know or don't know. Anyway, that's another thing altogether. But the thing is, right, here's the other thing, and I've mentioned this a few times on doing the show. People trust me, and people like coming here. If I started to do, like, if I did anything to break that trust, I would lose all credibility with the show. And once that happened, that would be it. The show would be done. Like, always. Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. You have been there, done that with that conversation. Katie, on the other hand, mentioned blackmail, and now I'm telling her why I would never even dream of doing it.
My mind immediately goes to the darkest place. Okay.
Yeah, like what's with you? Like, it's not. Look, we all have our own inner monsters, and I am completely unapologetic about what kind of asshole I really can be. I know, but blackmail's not my style. It's just not me. Like, bribery is where I'd go first. It's just like, for methods of coercion, that's my favorite one of choice. Beyond that, like I said, I'm savage. We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
Yeah. But like, I have all this information about, like, not just things in general, and I have these great conversations with so many people. Why aren't I doing more with it? So I've been just quietly pitching some stuff. I got something coming out for Writers Weekly very soon. So I've already started to see dividends doing it. So like, I've been trying to get towards creative life. So pitching stuff, and then something I just came to me, like, I was talking with my freelance guest last night. I could actually sell my services to interview people for, like, jobs. I really discern people fairly well, actually, and I think I'd be really good at finding a candidate for people. I'd be great at that. It's almost like HR, but except, I'm actually providing a service. Hey, listen, you guys want to find if you're the right fit, contact me. I will make sure I will connect you to the right people.
So and it's kind of basically.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. If you look at what a job interview is all about, ultimately, is, am I a good fit for your company? Like, if you're looking at somebody for an interview, you kind of want to get a sense of who the person is. That's what this is about. Like, you want to go through. You're at that point where it's like, okay, I think he knows what he's doing. Now I just want to make sure he kind of fits our mold, our model, our brand, I guess, for lack of a better term. So, but really what it's about is, will this person work well with me? Or will I work well with them? Because sometimes it goes both ways, right? Sometimes as a company guy, it's like, I need people, but this guy isn't going to last long because I'm this way. Or this guy isn't going to last long because he's crazy. That's what the job interview process is really all about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but unlike like an interview like this where we're just banter back and forth talking about, whatever's related to our creative passions. And again, my mind goes to the darkest place. Interviews, people lie, like job interviews, because they're putting the face forward they know you want to see rather than the total truth.
So do you want to go down to really the darkest path, really the darkest timeline?
That's just where my mind goes.
No. Let me throw this back at you in a very interesting way. The secret to, like, one of the things I do when I do interviews is I listen. Sometimes I listen to what is said, but more often than not, I also listen to what isn't said, because it also says just as much about the person as what is said. And I can actually look at somebody, and because I do these conversations all the time, I can usually do this with most people. I usually get a really good read on who the person is and isn't, based on what they say and what they don't. That's most interviewers, the true art of the interview is about listening. And it's not always about what's said. It's also about what isn't said, what isn't done, that says an awful lot about the person. More than people realize, actually, because it's one of those things where you have to work really hard to lie. Actually, here's the thing: you actually have to work hard to lie, harder than most people realize. You gotta concoct a story. Now, we're good at that. We can tell full stories. Good magician, there's a secret to the magic. There's a secret to the magic trick. And once you have the magic nailed down, once you realize that that there's a flaw in the whole, like My Cousin Vinny is one of my favorite little lawyer movies. It's a comedy, but one of my favorite parts is the whole concept of looking at a story. Because when you look at a story, when you hear a story at first, you see this brick wall, this wall that seems really solid and sturdy, shows the back of a playing card. He flips it around and shows a joker. So the honest truth of the matter is, every story's got holes in it. And if you're really careful in your craft, you can look at holes, right? And you can find them. I pick up stuff from people all the time when I talk to them, right? That's why I can say, like I was joking to you about big matless arms and big thing, because I've watched you. I watch how you operate. I watch what you do, right? I look at the fact that the fact is, I can look at who reads the sponsorships on Spilling Ink. I look at like the little bits of administration that goes on when you're doing stuff, and you're like, you're the one that does the task. You're the one that does things. That isn't to say that everybody else doesn't do stuff, but you're somebody that takes their responsibilities very seriously. And because you do, sometimes you have this habit, because you're also a mom and you have kids. I'll handle this, and I'll take it all for myself. And you do it all the time. It's not always good for you to do it all the time, but you'll even do it with your friends. And sometimes they let you when they shouldn't. And that, like I said, and this is just me observing one little thing you do.
You wonder why I want to go break shit.
I know. I don't wonder why you want to go break shit. I know why you want to go break shit. I get it.
I mean, it makes sense, because that's the exact opposite of what I do. I spend so much time building, creating, doing, managing. Breaking stuff is 100% the opposite of that, which is why it was a perfect choice to get out and do.
Now, would you like me to tell you the other reason why it appeals to you so much?
Because it has weapons, and I like weapons.
Yeah, you like weapons. Now, there's another really fun reason too.
All right, go for it.
Because you can cut loose. You're used to being the responsible one. there, you don't have to be responsible. You can just break shit. And you don't have to worry about, it's not your mess to clean up. It's not your responsibility. You, for once in your life, or for once you're letting yourself be, you know what? I'm going to make the biggest mess. I'm going to destroy and break shit. And then I can leave it behind. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
It's
right?
so appealing. So appealing.
Yeah. See, I'm not surprised at all. I know. I'm sorry. You wanted to go down Dark's timeline, and it's like, here's the thing. I do read people. Oh, they're great. Rage rooms are all the rage. I have to work at actually bringing my anger out. I actually have to work at it because I'm content with very little, and I don't really have a lot of responsibilities beyond myself. So I have a very simple life, and so there's not really much for me to be angry about. And I'm okay with not being in control of absolutely everything either, because it's too much like work. I'm lazy. I don't want it. You guys all can tell me how the world works, because I don't get it. I don't think you guys get it either. But you guys want to do that responsibly, that's cool. I'm going fishing, because that seems like
the word that you said there that was wrong is want. I don't think any of us really want all of that responsibility, but somebody's got to do it. So we step up and have to be the adult.
Do you though? No. I mean, carrying your own weight, being responsible for your own stuff. I can see that. Your kids, sure, absolutely. You brought them into this world. You gotta look out for them. I get that. But anyone else? No.
Depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair, but that's. I learned a long time ago that people were going to do exactly what they want to do, and sometimes the most responsible thing you can do is let them, because in that environment, in that place, in that time, right? Most adult. Here's the thing: we're all adults. The most adult thing we do, honestly, is we face the consequences of our own actions or inactions, as the case may be. We're not kids anymore. If I decide tomorrow that I'm not going to do this anymore and I'm going to go fishing, all this momentum I've built up doing this show over the years will eventually evaporate. It won't evaporate right away, because I've built this for a very long time and it's going to roll and go, but eventually it will fade. People will forget all about me. People will stop looking for me. Thorn Ivy is asking, do you get to pick what you break in the rage room?
They have packages, so I think they just have their pre-selected stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. And everyone can different too.
Yeah, some room. Yeah, each room varies. But I mean, the most adult thing we can do, honestly, I think, is face the consequences of our own actions. And sometimes we can't handle it, and that's where being a good friend kind of comes in and going, you can't handle this. But there's a fine line between can't handle it and won't handle it, and finding that line sometimes, that's the tricky part, right? And so sometimes you can be the superhero. Oh, that's cool. I did not know you could also bring stuff to break to there, Go Indy now. I did not know that. Now I know. So guys, when you go to a rage room, bring stuff to rage. My recommendation for anyone is seriously clay pots. The sound they make is so hard to duplicate. It does something like your lizard brain loves that shit. It really, really does. That's my recommendation to anybody. So that's my thought on it. Like that's my thought on it. I've learned that people do what they want to do. Sometimes you have to I think you gotta let them be adult enough to face the consequences of it.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
So let's see. So you've been responsible and stuff. So let's talk about your responsibility. Not the stuff you're not supposed to be working on, but you've been like, you host Spilling Ink, you write kick-ass books, you edit stuff. So at this point, like, do you see yourself as writer first, or do you see yourself as editor first, writer second? Because you're kind of like that's kind of, your editing is I think the big bread and butter for you. And I wonder, because he's like, you do something long enough, you kind of become that to some degree. So is that like, how do you see yourself at this point?
Yeah, it's tough because got to pay the bills, right? Back to that responsibility angle. So what's paying the bills right now? Freelance stuff. So Rising Sign Books, which is my freelance company, I do a la carte publishing consultant. So depending on what you need for your books, whether you need an editor, whether you need somebody to help you either find cover art or create cover art, whether you need somebody to do the book layout, whether you need somebody to hold your hand through getting your book up on the different publishing platforms, that's what I help with. And I don't do big packages because I find most authors, they don't need everything. They need one here, one there, maybe a little bit of something, but not everything. And so I don't want to end up creating these package deals that give people services they don't need. So a lot of my clients lately have been kind of in two forms. I've had the ones that have just needed their hands held through everything, which I understand. Publishing's confusing as hell. So I basically am acting kind of like their personal assistant while they're getting their book up on the different platforms and getting started. And then on the other side, I'm working with a publishing company as one of their, I wouldn't say I'm a staff editor because I'm still freelance, but I'm scheduled to do certain books with them at certain intervals. So that's been pretty much where my time and my earnings have come from. I haven't written in a while and I miss it. That's my next task in the responsibility realm, is to figure out how to balance the two so I can get back to writing more, because I miss it. And that was one of my outlets. And without that outlet, I'm feeling the stress even more. So I'm still a writer. It's just I haven't had time to write lately.
A friend of mine on Twitter is like, how do you do it? And in my case, like, I've been very fortunate. I've been experimenting for the last year on, well, everything and anything. I've made audiobooks. I'm illustrating. By the way, big question. Thorn Ivy asked, do you have a preferred genre that you edit?
Lately I've been really enjoying the crime thrillers. Those have been really fun. And that's totally not my genre that I write in. So it's different enough that they're unique to me, and I love the mystery angle of it, the whodunit. And as I'm editing it, I like being behind the scenes and able to help refine that a little more for the author. So that's been the one that I've been having most fun with lately.
Very cool. Very cool. So that actually was going to my next question, is what was your favorite, is that your favorite thing to do when you're working behind the scenes? Or do you like, what's like the ideal like list? Like if an author came to you for certain things and you said, oh boy, I can't wait to really get into it, like what would be it for you?
As tedious as it is, developmental editing is one of my favorites, because I like to give the explanations behind why this works, why this doesn't work, ideas on how you could tweak it to make it better. And I love being able to, it's almost like teaching. Instead of just, making sure everything is correct, I'm giving them advice so that they can make sure that it's as good as it can possibly be. So I like that element of it, whereas just standard, copy editing, it's just correcting. There's less creativity involved, I think.
You hasn't read someone else's books. I could put her on the spot. Has she read mine yet? No. Yes.
Yours? No.
No.
I've read excerpts that you've sent me, but I haven't read the whole thing.
Yeah. How about Joe? Because he says he hasn't read someone here's book, so I guess. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to Joe's book yet. Honestly, a lot of the normal people I beta read for, I haven't been able to get to their books, and I'm so terribly behind on that, because again, I haven't had time. I've got to get that time management thing down to a science, because I am missing out on half of what I used to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that too. I'm supposed to be beta reading for a friend of mine. I'm gonna try to get it done to her by the weekend, because it's been crazy. Like for me, it's like from yeah, I know you were kidding, Joe. It's okay. We love your books. Well, I love your books. I don't know about Katie, but that's okay. No,
I'm sure I will love the books. I have no doubt in my mind about that.
Yes. Oh, hey, listen, I'm cool. You can make fun of Tim Hortons all you want. Honestly, I'd kill for a second cup, but it doesn't exist in Windsor. Like that would make me really happy. Seriously. Right, but wouldn't
that make a good motivation for murder? Didn't get that second cup of coffee.
Yeah. Some days. Some days.
Believe me, I understand that.
I'm honest. Like I don't joke. I'm not like, I'm only half serious. I am a bit of a savage. I'm honest about it. So that's the thing. I no, for me, like I said, it's interesting because now that I've been freelancing, I find I have less time than I thought I would. Right. It's I'm either pitching, writing, drawing. By the way, big important question for everybody watching this: Johnny Cage with a porn stash? Yes or no? Because if any Mortal Kombat character would wear a porn stash, Johnny Cage, I think, would be the one. Right? I think he would. He's that much of a douche, but that's okay. But that's a question for the audience. But like I said, I'm working on. I asked this too because for me, I think the biggest challenge about this time for me was figuring out who I am as a freelancer. That's probably, it's one of the hardest things about the whole journey. And it sounds like you like for you, editor / coach is kind of like where you fit. And I honestly think that's not a bad thing. I think you're great at both. But I mean, it's just one of those things where like, how did you find that path? Like, did you just say, I mean, I'm doing like kind of try everything and kind of see where you fit, or did you just fall into it?
Well, I list the skills that I'm good at, and being in publishing, specifically self-publishing, for the last 10 or so years, actually I think 11 now, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot through trial and error. So I've made as many mistakes as I think you can possibly make, and I know what mistakes look like, what they cost, and how to avoid them now. So I'm in a good place to help people avoid those mistakes. So that becomes one of my, things that I can do. I can avoid the mistakes. I can teach people the right path. So as just a coach on that side, I'm good at that. I've been beta reading for years, which led me towards editing, because not only am I helping fix story problems, but now that I've learned so much by being beaten up by my own editors, how to spot all of these mistakes that I've been making. So I started taking a few courses on editing, and I was able to get a certificate for that. And editing became something that I did. I've been doing cover art. I specialize more in nonfiction cover art than fiction because I'm better at that style. But I have a lot of people that I know that do cover art. So I can guide people towards a cover artist that might fit their genre if I'm not the one that they need to use. So it's just everything that I have done, every mistake I've made, and everything that I've learned becomes something I can do for others. And that's kind of where my skill set is. And I just listed everything. And I go on the freelancer sites and hunt for jobs sometimes. And I'm lucky now that I'm actually being sent jobs more than I'm hunting for them. And that's how I ended up working with this publishing company. Is they found me. I did their little interview test and everything, and they seemed to like me. We did a test book together. That went well, and I think I'm now on book 4 with them, with another potential contract for a few more books to do with them. So it's been good, but it's also very time consuming.
Yes, that's why I like the editor / writing part came to my head, because I'm like, you're juggling a lot of plates. I mean, you haven't even talked about your show, Spilling Ink, yet. It was sponsored by a certain man that thinks that, like, Johnny Cage. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, luck is preparation meets opportunity. Absolutely.
I'm not good at the preparation side, though. That's the problem.
You're more prepared than I think you realize. I just think I think, like most people, you do what most people do in this situation. You procrastinate until you absolutely have to do it. But that's everybody. That's why deadlines exist. See, that's why deadlines are actually a thing, because deadlines actually make us push us. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I can get this book done whenever. Years later, well, fuck. All right, I wrote 2 words, The Onion. I don't even know what this is about anymore. I just have an onion thing I don't know anymore, right? But when you have a deadline and you have something to push you, that's when you produce. Like, you have a deadline. Axe throwing day is your deadline. So you probably will forego some degree of sleep and stop getting your things going, because that's what creatives do. We all do it. Mm-hmm. Raise your hand. I do. I admit it.
All the time.
Yeah.
And I curse myself as the alarm clock goes off in the morning, because I knew better. than to stay up so late working that I'm not physically able to function for the first couple of hours of the day because I'm so dog tired from not getting sleep.
Do you take naps?
No, I don't wake up well from naps.
Oh, okay.
I do not reset well at all.
I've gotten older. I like naps rule. Like they totally rule. They're like all the recesses I missed in my 20s and 30s, and like that one. It's like it's great. I come back refreshed. But
I'm the person that wakes up from a nap and goes, "What year is it? What the fuck time is it? Oh shit, what did I miss?" And it's like instant stress. I do not wake well from a nap.
Okay, so naps are out for you.
Yeah.
What is your stress relief? Like I realize axe throwing is going to be like fun, but you got like, how do you unwind? Hey Joe, you can't like shush Joe. Yeah, you're not allowed to. You publish something every 4 years. You publish something all the time. It's called Go Indie Now. It's a show. It's a network. It's like you're trying to take over the world.
There you go.
Right. That's what you do, right? Joe, you're a broadcaster first, writer second. That's all said. You're still a writer, still a creative person. You do amazing things. You're a great storyteller. You really are, right? It's like me. I publish something 5 days a week. I turn this show into 5 days a week.
There you go.
It's my jam. It's my thing, right? I get to make an ass of myself in front of people. I even get awards for it. I mean, it's great. But I mean, it's a life skill. Life skills there, everybody. But like, what do you do? Like, what's your like? Do you meditate? Do you read? Do you like play with your kids? Do you anything?
No.
No, axe throwing. First time.
I seriously can't think of what I do to de-stress. Maybe just mindlessly surf the internet. I don't know.
The YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, in 2020, let's face it, nobody was going out and doing anything anyways, so there wasn't much opportunity to get out and do much. But yeah, I really haven't had an outlet for stress.
Okay, so me as your friend, that is what you need to make time for that. Yep. And I think everything else will fall into place. Even if it's just, listen, I joke about recess, but honestly, you know what what I really miss about it? Like, honestly, 15 minutes, scream your head off. Play down the swings and slide, get all that energy out, come back, reset. For me, I walk. I like to walk. I did some walking today. I actually found myself, I didn't think Windsor actually connected to LaSalle, which is a small thing just right by the St. Clair College. But I decided to go to LaSalle today because I found a way to actually get there, and it was like, okay, let's just go and check it out and relax. It's a small little town, but that doesn't matter. I needed to vent and unwind. And then I did something foolish, and I bought a novel I probably can't really afford right this minute, but that's okay. I'm a big enough boy to admit this. I'm a big Susanna Clark fan. I think she's amazing. I found a novel of hers. I didn't know it was out. It was like, yeah, mine. Yes, because Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell is awesome, and she doesn't do enough cool books like that. There isn't enough of her out there. But so I saw it. It's like, okay, I'm buying this. That's what's happening today.
You're not going to get an argument from me when it comes to buying books. I mean,
yeah. I figured I wouldn't, but I'm just like, that's what I did. Like, that was my recess. And I came back here, and then I started working on I did some stuff here because I think I am going to need a day job that's steady-ish. It doesn't have to be full time, but it has to be steady-ish. Right? It doesn't even have to be paid great. It doesn't really have to. I have a suitcase and some comic books. That's all I have to my name right now, and I'm good with that, right? So I don't need much. So I I'm debating about whether like what to do like for the rest of the year. But I mean, that's so I did that. Then I did like I said, the two dream little things we did. Like Screen Rant was looking for a comic book person to review DC and Marvel. I'm like, shit, I can do that. And then Spotify was like, can you do 30 minutes, 45-minute scripts for a podcast? Shit, I can do that, right? So I just did that, and then I was like, "Oh shit, I'm late. I need to get a coffee." So I'm awake when Katie's here because no one wants to see me snore on the air. No one, right? No, it's not. That's not good. No,
yeah, no.
But that was it. Like, and I'm back to working when we're done here. I make clips for an episode last week. I post a new audio podcast. I write a little bit. I sleep. I wake up. I do what I have to do tomorrow. Go home. Repeat, and that's it. Like, but I give myself usually some point in the day where it's like 15 minutes. Like rage rooms, the cool thing about rage rooms, scream your head off concept, right? That's not that different from recess, right? You find yourself a swing and a slide, all right? Play tag with somebody. I don't know, just play whatever like floats your boat. But Josh, your friend, not Josh, the responsible professional, because you don't need that, because Lord knows you're probably more responsible and professional than I am, and Joe is, and everybody else that's watching this. Hey, I am. And actually, Joe, I gotta call you on something, because you were supposed to send me a comic book before things happened, and I never got it. So I'm gonna call you on that. We're gonna grab our responsibilities and stuff. It's okay. I got the book, but even so, calling you out, just doing it here because I can. It's my show. Really? He didn't send it to you? Shrug. Okay, fair enough.
Somebody else is in trouble now.
Yeah. Okay, tell him from me, Snowball. Shh, that's okay. Peerless is an awesome book, and that's the one I'm going to be reviewing. But that's the like, you need that. And yeah.
I'm not arguing. I know this. I know I need to have an outlet, and that's why I shied away from the last opportunity I had to go out and do something, because I was just tired, and it became more of a hassle to get out of the house than it was to just stay home and just dwell. So This time I was like, no, I'm not going to stop myself this time. I'm going to actually get out, and I'm going to go have some fun that is totally not work related.
Which is good.
Because let's face it, when you work at home, you never leave the office. And even when you're not working, you're still in the office, and there's always that email that pops in, and I'm like, okay, in the middle of watching stupid YouTube videos, that email pops in, I'm like, oh, I got to answer that now. Yeah, there's no delineation between the two.
Oh, Joe, Joe is 1,000 times more responsible than her, and you can freely admit, I know Joe, right? Like, the very first part, I talk about how big Katie's arms are, because she's so responsible to carry stuff on her shoulders. She's got muscles on her muscles for it, and it's true. You're one of the most professional people I know. And I say this as a big compliment. You're one of the most professional people I know. You have incredible poise, and even sometimes in the show, it's like you're the one that goes, "Hey, I'm gonna let this. I got to bring this back to some topic at some point in time. But you're an incredible.
Sometimes it's fun to go off the rails, though. Sometimes it's fun to just like watch the train wreck happen.
Well, yeah. I mean that's one thing about your show that I like. Like, my show doesn't really have a railroad cart or a track or a pilot. It does sometimes, but by and large, we're just chatting, right? Yep. So, but when you're in a group, like, the cool thing about a group chat, like what you guys do is, there's more than one voice. There's more than one person going back and forth, and so it gives the opportunity for the host, to get out of the way, because honestly, you can go into the background and you can let people just go back and forth, and all you really got to do is like end time, and that's it. I mean, that's an easy job, right?
No, that's not always an easy job. There have been times where I don't know if my mic was turned off or what, but I could have shouted stop, and no one would hear me. So it's just like, all right, guys, just keep going. Let's let this fizzle out on its own. There's no way I'm stopping it.
I don't think that's like. I think hard's the wrong word choice there. It could be that you're cursed. I've seen it on the air, like where you'll literally like it'll suddenly stop, and I can see like in your mouth, like you're actually doing a little like 4 and 5 letter swears. It's hilarious, but it's also like I understand like shit happens, right? And it's like okay, she's having a moment, she's having this, and then it comes back, and you're back, and I mean that's not really your fault. That's not really like on you. When I think about it, I think of like when you're just hearing a good conversation, but you can come in and go as almost like a moderator. Go, okay, we have time. That is like your show has that freedom to do that.
But sometimes it's fun just to let it go because honestly, when it does go off the rails, sometimes it goes off in a really cool direction.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
Okay, actually, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to since we're going down darkest timeline, I'm going to give you like an evil question.
Okay.
Who's your favorite guest to talk to on the show?
Ooh. We have had so many. It's hard to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like mentally going backwards through the episodes that we've done because we've been on the air for, I think we're in our 5th year this year. So we've been around for a while. We've talked to so many people. I'm not sure if I can answer that one because it'll take me forever to like mentally work backwards and try to remember all of the guests that we've had because they all bring something different to the table. And the conversation is never the same. That's the beauty of our show.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we bring a guest on again, the conversation is never the same. It's always different.
And those are the best ones. Those are the that's the best thing. Like every guest, like we're all experts on something. And that expertise often branches off into a bunch of different things. And when that happens, you can have you can make some really interesting connections with people. And here's I think the part that I know I feel this way. I'm wondering if you feel the same. Sometimes you take a moment back and you step back and you look at everyone you've had the opportunity to meet. And you're like, how did this happen? Right. The goalie now took over. She just doesn't want to admit it. Maybe. I don't know.
That was fun to set up. And I think it started with my co-hosts were both calling out for a week. And I had originally said, fine, we just won't do a show. And I was like, no, I want to do a show. I look forward to doing the Saturday night shows. And so I reached out to Joe and I was like, let's do something fun with this. And, since we're both really good with our StreamYard, which is the service we use to do the streaming, we came up with a way to create this, stealing each other's platform look to the show. And it worked out really well. Like the intro couldn't have gone more beautifully. It was perfect.
I had Brian do that with mine, actually. Brian Tan. I had him go, listen, I need to take a weekend off. Can you I was one of my reading episodes. It's like, so instead of me doing a reading, why don't you just take over for the whole half hour? He took over as one of his actual characters. It was hilarious because
nice.
From a production episode it was easy because all I really had to do was come up with a sound effect that would actually have him take over the show and just let. Because Brian's so good at what he does that I don't have to do much with him. Just like, this is going to be good. I don't got to worry. Let's just do it.
Yep.
And that was fun. Like those are neat shows. I'd love to take over one of Brian's shows at some point, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But just do that as a revenge. Like, I've been waiting years for this, right? And have you ever was there a moment on the show when you had a guest that you actually had fangirls? Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to this person right now.
I haven't had the fangirl moment. No. There are some that I have been too scared to reach out to see if I could get them on the show because I know I would have that fangirl moment. So There's a few that I would eventually like to reach out to, but I haven't drummed up courage yet to do it.
So are you just afraid of the fangirl, or are you afraid they're going to say no?
Honestly, and this, I was going to ask you this question since you were throwing me a hard question. I'm going to throw it back to you, and it ties into the answer to that question. Have you ever noticed over the years that you've done shows, you may have like a preconceived notion about a guest coming on? Like you just through the email interaction or just quick interpersonal interactions on social media, that you end up you've got almost like a bias about what you expect them to be like on the show, and then they totally surprise you, whether good or bad.
So that would be Liana Kersner, Liana K. She is legitimately one of the smartest guests I've ever had on the show. She is funny, she's engaging. She's a comedian, television personality, very strong opinions. When I saw her on social media, I was like, I don't know. I was worried we'd clash. So I was doing, this is back before even the podcast when I met her. I met her at like the Spar in Toronto. And we just talked for like 4 hours. Like, because it just was like, we got along really, really, really well. Easily one of my smartest guests. By a shot. She's an incredibly cool person, and I was very pleasantly blown away by who she was. Actually, but once I did that, I actually I taught myself a very, very, very valuable lesson, and it's served me pretty much ever since. I'm not shy exactly. You've noticed that, right? I'm not exactly what you would call shy,
yeah.
Right? But I'm not really afraid to ask people anything. So what it taught me was something very important, was it's worth asking, because even if the answer, you don't hear an answer. So I'm going to let you know a couple, do you want to hear like some of the crazy people I've tried to get on my show? I went, fuck it, let's just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Alex Cooper.
Okay.
Because why not? He does great comic stuff. Worst case scenario, he says no. What have I lost? Lights, musician. I write to her music. I'd be like, there's a slightly bit of that fan. There's a fan there, but also she's an amazing creator, comic book creator, right? Like, she's a very gifted storyteller. I would love to pick her brain for an hour about how she approaches things. That'd be a great interview. Brandon Sanderson. I want to play magic with Brandon Sanderson on this podcast. That's cool. It's actually like, I'm not afraid to ask, because if the worst that can happen is I'll get a no, or I won't hear back. And I just shrug at that, because honestly, it's like, well, you know what? I'm exactly where I was before. Maybe better off. I interviewed Mark Leslie interviewed me for his podcast. This exact thing came up, and he's like I don't fear. Where this worked for me, I remember that's how I got Spider Robinson on my podcast. It was in Vancouver. I was in Vancouver, and I was there for the Auroras, and I met Spider at the Aurora pinning. That was surreal. Let me tell you, like, meeting Spider Robinson was like such a surreal experience. I went to his concert with the Beatles that night, because it was like, Spider Robinson, man, holy shit, it's Spider Robinson. Like, it's all right. So it's the day of the Auroras. He's going back. He's checking out of the hotel. And in my head, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. If he says no, it's okay. I'm going to do it. So I went up to him. I asked him if he would come on my show. He sent me his phone number, his email, and we have an amazing conversation. It's on my, even though the quality of the episode kills me, because I don't have, like, it was my phone. It was me, not him. You hear him just fine. Me, I suck. I don't care. I got the opportunity of a lifetime to talk to him about his White House dinner. I got to talk about his wife, got to talk about comparing him to Robert Heinlein. I had that opportunity because I asked. So going back to you, who is it and why haven't you asked them?
Well, see, I still haven't rounded out to the answer that I was going to give you. And the reason I asked if you've ever had somebody on who you had a preconceived notion about, and then the episode went completely differently than you expected. whether good or bad, because it's gone both ways on Spilling Ink. We've had some really good episodes, really good interviews, and we've had some that were like pulling teeth. There's part of me that's, yes, afraid to reach out for the no. But the other part is, what if I get the yes and it goes completely the opposite of how I expect it? And it becomes like one of our worst episodes, or the chemistry's bad, or I don't know. It's beyond just the getting the no. There's that next level thinking of, what if the episode ends up being total crap? So I don't know.
So I got this. I saw Rebecca Jones has been watching it. She wants to say like she's the best guest ever. Rebecca, you might be the best guest ever. Is Rebecca the best guest ever?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, we'll go with that. So Rebecca, you are the best guest ever.
Yep. Because she'll cattle prod me if I say no.
Yeah. So, Faith No More is what Joe asked her if she has faith no more, and I don't know that reference exactly, but you did. Is it the band?
I think he's trying to tease me, because we talked about a guest for Go Indie Now, who I was trying to poke him to say, do it.
Yeah, honestly. So I'm going to ask this. Okay. So here's the thing. So I've had stinkers. I don't have what I would call bad episodes very often. I've had some stinkers. You'll never hear me mention them in public. They're there if you want to look at them. They are there. I don't shy. Like, my warts and all are there. They make me cry a little bit, right? They make me cry a little bit. One of them in particular, I'm like, oh, I'm gutted about that conversation. But well, it was there was nothing I could do. Like, it was going to be bad no matter what I did. One person, the two I considered bad in my entire run, like I consider real bad. One of them, honestly, I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. It's one of the few people whose my interview style does not work very well on, and I'm so comfortable with it that I didn't give myself an out. So that's on me. The second one, though, there was no way that was going to be a good interview. Like, there was zero chance it was going to be a good interview. Nothing I could do about it. And that one is there. She put the cattle prod away. Rebecca put the cattle prod away. So it's all good. She does know you. Rebecca. How you doing?
Yeah. But there's the element of don't meet your heroes too becomes a part of that, because sometimes you idolize somebody. They are absolutely, perfect. And then you meet them and you're like, oh God, that is not how I expected. So you don't want to ruin the fantasy that you have in your mind of why you idolize somebody.
I've been through it though. Like on my end, so let me give you the good and bad about that, because I've been through both. I got to work for one of my heroes, and you know what? It did not go any way the way I wanted it to. It was that, and a lot of that was on me too. But for all of that, I don't regret that I did it, because how many people can actually say that? You got to work with one of your heroes. Not many people get that opportunity in their life. They really don't. It's a really, truly precious thing. Good, bad, or indifferent. I would encourage, like, if you get that chance, go for it. Because even if it doesn't, so here's the flip side. Okay? You meet somebody that blows away all the expectations you had.
Mm-hmm.
There are people I have had on my show that I have had no expectations with. I did not know them from Adam, and I mentioned at all, and they pleasantly surprise you with how much of an amazing human being they really are. I'm not going to say why, but one such example for me is, believe it or not, it's Craig DeLuty. Really good.
He's
dude.
Cool. He's so cool. Oh,
he's
what
cool.
a great conversation.
Oh no, he's a cool dude. He's a really good guy. Like he's better than you advertise.
Yeah, every time we've brought him on the show, it's been an amazing conversation.
Oh yeah, he's a sharp dude. He let me interview his daughter, because his daughter published a book at like 10 years old. I got to interview her, and that was so fun to do.
That's so fun to do. I like that.
Yeah. So I don't worry. I don't worry about it going bad, AF Stewart, for one very simple reason. I am confident enough in myself that it's going to be good. even if it's bad. I can make it. I've had people no show, and that I've made it work, even on the live stream. So I'll like, I'm confident enough in myself that it can go sideways, and I'm fine. Right.
Our last episode was a no-show episode. We
Yes, I
had
saw that.
one host and our guest last minute can't do it, and it was like, all right, let's just talk about whatever comes to mind. And we actually did a really good show. We
sexy cover. That
all
was
different cover artists that we
that,
loved.
that was sexy cover episode. I was there for that. Yeah, it was really, really good. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Craig is somebody I was and one of my favorite conversations of all time is a gentleman by the name of Adam Dries. Our first one is still, we've had an interview since there. I always consider good, but the first one was really special to me because we broke ice. Like, we really broke the ice. Because I remember we were talking about like really, really hard times. And he was talking about his earrings. I don't have tattoos. I don't have earrings. I don't have any symbolism of anything I've really been through. I carry some things with me, and I know I do, but they're not out. I don't feel the need to necessarily show everything I've done, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm certainly not shy, but it's like, it's there. If you really want to know, you'll find out. And that's how I've always seen it. But when Adam, we were talking about his earring, and we connected. Like, that conversation, that part of the conversation, you could literally feel the ice break. Adam Dries is a great guy. He's one of the best. He's enthusiastic, charismatic, talented, charming. He is everything. Like, really, he's one of the best people. And I never expected the conversation to be that good. In fact, I love it. I've learned not to have expectations with my conversations for that reason, because there's always room to be surprised in the best possible ways. And even the quietest people blow your mind sometimes. And it's great.
On the right topic, definitely.
Yeah. Calvin Jim. I remember that's an interview I do remember very fondly, because we started talking about Japan and his cultural identity. We started to get, I got a real sense of who he was. Yes, Con, just because I just don't care, and that's one of the appeals of my show. Yeah, so me and Con walk around. There's literally 10 minutes of us going from one restaurant to the other, and I kept it in there. I just kept it in there, just as it was, because I don't. Nice. I love a certain authenticity, a certain realism to the conversations. What I actually miss, honestly, doing it like this is this. I used to do these in restaurants and bars and cafes, and there'd be like the waitress coming up for the order. There would be like all these like little things going on around the bar, and I love that ambiance to it, because it actually adds something to the character of the interview without actually. And so I enjoy that. Man, my first conversation with Tony is amazing. I enjoyed my second one with him not too long ago either. But I don't.
You didn't hear the toilet flush, did you?
No, you don't hear the toilet flush. You don't. But it's a small little cafe. It's really cool. But it's one of those things where I just let things just be what they are. I don't worry about it. I let myself be surprised. And so going back to full circle to what I was going to say about you is, look, I had Kelly Armstrong on my podcast. Do you know what we ended up talking about? We ended up talking about one of these first-person shooter games. She's a gamer mom. It was great. I had fun talking to Kelly Armstrong for like the 30 to 40 minutes I did. No expectations, just two people having a great little conversation, right? If you go in with your heroes with that mentality, there's going to be nerves. There's going to be like,
mm-hmm.
There's always going to be a little nerves. I think that's actually a good thing. If you didn't care about it, I don't ever want to feel like I'm not nervous. Because if I'm not nervous, there's nothing for me to accomplish. There's no butterflies. If I ever did the show and I didn't really feel any butterflies, I'd walk away from it. It'd be done. right? There'd be nothing worth doing, right? The butterflies make it so good, and that's why I think go in with no expectations. You might be surprised how much magic you make, and you might. And I gotta say, one of the coolest things in life is when your hero is your friend. That's a really incredible thing. It really, really is. And if you go in with that mentality, you might be amazed what you come out with. It's a thought. Yeah. Anyway. So you're not so. Okay, since you are trying to figure out that writing editing balance right now, what's your goal this year? If you did, like, is there a goal to release a book this year?
Yeah, if I don't send a short story or a novella to Rebecca for Three Furies Press, she'll kill me. So I have to do that. I believe that one's got an October publishing deadline, and that's for my pen name, Rosalind Sparks, who writes the naughty stuff. And I'm talking with J.E. Taylor right now about doing our trilogy. So we did the Running from the Devil series, which was really fun. And we had a great time writing. We meshed really well as a co-writing team. So we're going to be working on that. And I have to fix Asset Book 5 because I don't like where I went with it. And if I don't like it, readers aren't going to like it. So it's not going to be published until I can fix that. So there's a lot of stuff I can do.
Okay. So Rebecca, pusher, bring out the cattle.
Does. I get threatening emails all the time. Thanks, Rebecca.
That's actually should be a cool bonus. Threatening emails from your editors. How editors abuse us into getting our stuff done. I will beat you to a pulp if you do not do this.
So, okay, no joke. I told Rebecca to do this because I needed a kick in the pants. The book that I put out in December of last year almost did not make it out in December because I had so many things on my plate and I'd been so busy that I hadn't given time to it. And I had told Rebecca, don't let me miss this deadline. I need to have it turned in. She did the editing for me. I need to have this turned in. No excuses, no later than. And I gave her a date. And let me tell you, she does not forget. And she on me. And you know what? I think I was maybe 2 hours later than my deadline.
So she says there will be blood and pain or a manuscript, your choice.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Yeah, editors, they can abuse us and we love them. We have a weird relationship that way.
And I've always said, you say I'm this big responsible person. And yes, I do handle a lot, but I've always said I need a babysitter. I need an adultier adult to help me stay on target because I have a tendency to do that to myself, where I just overburden myself to the point of I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. I need an adult. Oh, you're screwed. Don't go to me. I'm like the worst. It's like one of my former roommates said to me, I need an adult. I'm like, but you are an adult. I need an adult to your adult. It's like, yep.
It's like
I've had personal assistants in the past, and when I could afford one. And one of the first things I told them is, you are going to be a babysitter. Yes, your job is to help me, but your job will also be to keep me on track so that I can give you assignments to do because I am that bad about organizing.
So basically, you give them a cow process. So there's 3 settings, right? There's stun, there's prolapse, and then there's like wake me from the dead. So get me. So get me to the. Very rarely you need to go past setting 2. Just it's only once in a while. It's like, and they just look at you kind of like, what did I sign up for?
That's the way they kind of respond to me when I'm like, you're going to babysit me, but you're the boss, and I'm telling you as the boss, you need to keep me on track so I can give you your assignments, because otherwise I will forget.
Note to self, PAs. You can beat me. No, I mean, go like
sometimes.
Yeah.
If I'm that close to a deadline, yeah, I do need somebody to sit over me and just like threaten.
That's what Rebecca's doing. Like, there's blood and pain or a manuscript. Yep. It's like, okay, that's that. I mean, It's ominous, and yet with a way out. It's like, give me that manuscript. No.
But I was only 2 hours late in turning it in, so pretty damn close to deadline.
Yeah, it's not too bad. That's not too bad. So okay, let's go a couple more here, and then we'll wrap this interview up. So actually, we'll go down this one angle, then we'll do the two things and wrap it up. You mentioned co-writing for a little with Jane there for a little bit. So how is co-writing with you? Is it fun?
It can be. It can also be very frustrating. Me and Jane worked like an old married couple. We were very comfortable with each other. We knew each other's styles. If I was stuck on something, she was the person who managed to pick it up where I left off and help me bridge the gap. We had very few arguments over things. We agreed to disagree on certain things where it didn't really matter, who got their way, and it worked out really well. Neither of us had anything that was that different than the other person's view. So the co-writing relationship worked really well. I've seen other co-writing relationships that didn't mesh as well. And if you think of it like, a marriage, if you guys aren't on the same page, if you guys don't have the same vision, then the problems come up, then the arguments come up, then the delays come up, and then, it could make or break your book.
Same vision, but also same level of commitment too. Like because if the commitment's not there, then it's over before it even begins. Right. I think my worst nightmare as an author is the fact when people come up to me, hey, write a book with me. It's like, no. the shutter right there. That was awesome. Like, but if people take it for granted, it's like writing books is a lot of work. It really is.
Never just go up to an author and go, oh, you should write my book.
It happens. It does. Autobiographies make you run away screaming. Write my biography.
And that was the thing I was going to say. Your styles have to mesh. And one of my quirks as a writer is my first draft. I'm very much a pantser. Even if I have a mini outline, to-do list, whatever, my first draft is very much a skeleton. It is almost all dialogue. Very little scene setting. It's usually I hear the characters and I'm typing the dialogue out as fast as I can as the characters are bantering in my head. So the first version that I would end up sending her, here's what I've got right now. Here's the chapter I wrote, 90% dialogue. And that didn't bother her. She's like, okay. And she could pick it up from there and she could weave in some of the details that I had missed and then continue it on towards the next scene. And we were kind of almost hopscotching each other. I'd write a chapter, like, let's say chapter 1 I would write, chapter 3 I would write, and I couldn't figure out how to mesh the two together. Well, she had chapter 2 right there. So it was like perfect the way we kind of see
it was magic, and you both had the same level of commitment too, which made it go really good back and forth. Cool.
And then we both went, once it was completely done, once we'd fleshed it out and everything, we both equally went through a full revision on ourselves so that you couldn't tell who wrote what. Because we layered in, all the chapters had both of our inputs in them by the end. So you couldn't tell which chapter was a Jane's chapter and which chapter was my chapter because they all sounded the same. We merged everything together by the end of it.
It's almost like you made a new color. You were one color and she was the other color, and then when you went through it, you became this color.
Yeah, right? It worked really well. And knock on wood, I mean, I'm very superstitious. I want that to be the way the next series goes. I really, really do, because that was fun. And I really enjoyed it.
So what's your superstition, if you don't mind my asking? You're very superstitious.
I'm always superstitious. Murphy's Law rules my life. Let's just say that.
So I had a chemistry teacher in high school. He'd have Murphy's Law there. Then he'd have the commentary on Murphy's Law. Do you want to hear the commentary on Murphy's Law?
Uh-oh. Is this going to be good?
It is good. It's sad, but it's good. Murphy was an optimist.
He's what?
I'm like, that was the commentary. Murphy was an optimist.
Okay.
And it was like, oh. Yep. That was my chemistry teacher for you in a nutshell. My chemistry teacher was cool. I was such a flake in high school, though. Man, I could have actually done well in that class if I'd paid more attention. Actually, it was one of the few times I really got really sick, and I missed something very tiny that was important to everything he did afterwards, and I never let myself get out.
Oh, that sucks.
It's on me. I could have caught up. I didn't. Um, I had to learn to become a responsible adult. Sometimes I still forget. Sometimes I think most of us. I look at some of the people I interview that are like younger than me that have their shit way more together than I ever did at their age. And I'm like, you know, you're gonna go somewhere because you already got more than I did at your age. So and I'm getting old. Damn it, getting older. Back when I was your age, I was a complete. How did I function? Right, and it's like, but yeah, I think that happens to us all. So a couple things left then, and then we can wrap this bad boy up. So Murphy's Law thing that explains. So when your technology goes wrong, then instead of saying Jesus Christ, you should just say fucking Murphy. That's what you should. That's what you should actually just say, like fucking Murphy. See, because that way, right? Because you're such a big proponent of it, right? Oh, well, Rebecca apparently rode you very hard, even with that 2 hour deadline long afterwards. It's good to know. So Rebecca's a good editor. Definitely check her out. She will keep you honest. But no, which completely threw me off my thought there for just a second there. Yeah, I'm getting old. It is the way it is, though. You are planning on releasing some books this year.
Oh yeah, tons of stuff on the calendar. Let's just see how much I actually get to. I'm making no promises about actual publication dates this year, but I do have things to work on.
Okay, so you're good. That's your goal this year. Get the stuff rolling, get it moving. Yeah, for me, it's going to be 3. I had that goal last year with 3. I did 2. 3. I don't beat myself up over if I don't hit my exact goal. I look at it like this: if I'm moving forward, that's the important part. Not so much that what I did or did not do. Right. So I mean, that's how I look at it. It keeps myself sane-ish.
Yeah. Well, your goals are good to have. It's something to reach for. And if you meet 2 out of 3, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
That's success. A lot of times, sometimes just getting 1 out of 3 is a success. And that's something I've been working on too, is trying to, I know Murphy's Law is going to fuck shit up, but what's the silver linings that I can find in this? Or what's the lesson I can learn from this? Because I've had clients that have asked me to do jobs where I thought, oh, this is going to be so easy. No problem. I get this done. And the job ended up being 10 times more complicated. And I was frustrated the whole time and cursing at my computer the whole time. But at the end of it, I walked away with a new skill because I learned through all that frustration a better way to do something. Or the reason why I wasn't getting it done was because I missed a step. And now I really know that step and I won't miss that step again. So I'm trying to, yeah, it's going to be shitty sometimes, but there's usually something good in it that I can take from it. And if I can focus on that a little bit more, then it doesn't feel so stressful.
One of my favorite Jocko Willink things, he has a little video on YouTube called "Good." It's when everything goes completely shit. He always would say "good," and you go, "Well, why?" Because because it's not a perspective. Didn't get that thing you wanted, good. Time to get something else. Didn't get that job you wanted, good. There's time to get another job. It was like, say I did a job interview, I didn't get the job, which is totally fine. You know what I did? I literally applied for a bunch more because whatever. I mean, that's life, right? Or it's life, like good. I mean, and also, I mean, I also look at it like it also might be a hidden blessing too, because I didn't get it. That might have been because it would have been completely shitty for me.
Yep.
And that is entirely good. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Didn't get the job you wanted, didn't get the promotion. Okay, try harder, right? If you look at everything as an opportunity, even when things go completely to shit, you're always in somewhat of a good headspace, and that's actually, it's probably one of the best lessons we can have actually as people is no matter how bad it gets, it could be worse. And I'm not trying to say that in terms of a jinxing, like it could be worse. And B, I'm trying to tempt fate. I just like it's the truth. Like it could be a lot worse than what it is at this moment. And two, you're still here. That means if you're still here, you learn from you've got an opportunity to learn and grow from it, and you can become something more.
Also, there's a little caveat to that too, because a lot of people, when they hear that advice, they think, well, I can never be negative about anything. I can never feel bad when things don't happen. You absolutely can. Allow yourself to feel that shitty feeling.
Absolutely.
And move on from it. But don't deny yourself that shitty feeling of I didn't get the job and this has been a bad day and things aren't working. Feel it because it's valid, but try and figure out a way to move on from that feeling.
Well, a lot of people think I'm eternally optimistic, and I actually it's the truth of the matter is, no matter how optimistic I am, I let myself feel all the negative things I feel about in those moments. I was a little sad today because I didn't get that job. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But I was sad because that would have made my life a lot easier. Because now I could just move to what's next, right? I can move to what's next and not worry about it, right? Now, on the flip side, I mean, it wasn't all bad. I have another job interview on Friday. It's not the end of the world. And if that doesn't happen, something else will open up too. And I know that, but for me, being positive is a defense is actually a defense mechanism because, and I look at it as a very pragmatic one because here's the thing. Yeah, I gotta let myself feel those negative things. You have to. It's just part of the human condition. But I can't hang on to those things, right? I have to let them go. My sister had one of the wisest things I think she's ever said, and if Rachel, if you ever listen to this or watch this, yeah, I do think of you when you say this. Be strong enough to feel what you're feeling, and then be smart enough to let it go.
Yep.
It's actually the best. It's one of the best pieces of advice. And then when you do that, I can be happy go Dory. Oh, look, it's the apocalypse. Shrug. Right? And then just move on, right? All right.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I have a shirt that's a little dinosaur and all the asteroids are coming down and he's like, this is going to be a great day.
Hey, on the flip side, here's a positive / like dark humor thing. If I don't make it through the day, well, I don't have to worry about tomorrow. Positive, less stress. Right?
Silver lining. I told you, find the silver lining.
That's right. Dark humor moment for the day, ladies and gentlemen. But no, like it is important. Like it's don't be foolish enough not to feel the negative. In fact, you should embrace it in that moment and let yourself feel it. And it's okay if you're not able to let it go the first time. Mourning is ultimately about mourning a moment in time is ultimately about letting it go in the pieces you're able to let it go in, right? Denying yourself that ability to grieve is what causes so many. When you met me, my teeth were still damaged. I remember this when I first came on the show. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons they had stayed damaged as long as they did was simply because I wasn't ready to let go of that pain I was feeling. I had to let go in pieces. Sure. I remember the last. So the night I had to go with my first dental surgery, I cried. Like I actually legitimately cried. Because I had to let go. I had to let go of I was letting go of this image I saw myself as for the last time, and I knew it. And I also had to make peace with the fact that what happened to me happened. Mm-hmm. Right? There was nothing I could do about it, and then in large part, there wasn't much I could do about it. It happened like it happened, and I had to accept that. But in that night, the night before, I cried. I let that pain finally come out, and then I was able to let it go, and then I was able to look forward to Mexico when I was going to go to Mexico and get my teeth fixed. And I recommend that for anybody. I don't care what economy, astronomy. It's way better than trying to get them fixed anywhere else in North America.
That's a topic for another day.
That is a topic for a completely different day. but the point of the pain, we all carry things. and not everything we carry is healthy. But the way
Absolutely.
to act, and the way to let it go is to acknowledge it, and that is embracing your negative. All of us have to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, that is your mental health response of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Sponsored by.
Where's the disclaimer? We are not doctors.
I am not. I am not a professional, at least when it comes to medical or psychological advice. Right, but
take
I
all
am,
advice
however,
with a grain of salt, around a rim with a margarita in the glass.
yeah, do that. Hey, do it how you want. You're going to anyway. Do it how you want to. I'm just telling you what works for me. Shrug. That's it. Right.
Yep.
But no, like that's it. Like for me, it's a defense mechanism. So it's how I've survived the craziness I've survived. Consequently, I am a little crazy. It's like it's all good.
Kind of have to be, I think.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be some level of crazy to deal with the world, because the world is absolutely bonkers.
Well, yeah. Like, I've learned that trying to be like everybody else doesn't really work. So I'm just going to try to be like me, and that seems at the very least, if it doesn't work, I'm happier, and that's how I kind of deal with it. And if I can't figure out an answer, I can just look around me. Most of us don't know the answers either, so we just kind of just shrug and have faith it'll work out in some way or another, because it's bigger than us. And I again, that's my zen. That's been my zen for a very long time. The world is a bigger place, and most of the things to be upset about, the people I'm upset about don't even know my name. So how is carrying it going to help me? Right? If I don't have an answer, if I can't solve a problem, why? Yeah, I gotta maybe deal with it, but why carry the burden more than I have to? Because it's not my burden to solve. I'm here to do what I'm here to do. That's it. I tell stories. I make people laugh. I make an ass of myself in front of an audience. I'm good at that too. I guess I don't know. People seem like what I do.
Entertainment is super important. Like, it
Yeah.
gets so devalued, but without entertainment, life wouldn't be worth living.
Yeah. Well, you got to have that moment where you can look at the world and kind of just smile about it. Because honestly, it's what joy is rebellion. Like, the older I get, the more I believe that joy is the true way of rebelling. And I think the secret war of the world, in my opinion, is about this. Can we keep the little joys in it? Because everything else really does not matter. When we lose those joys, that's when this world is hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's my big and deep thought for the day.
Yeah, I'm of the same mind. If everything you do, and this is a reason again why I'm not stopping myself from going out, if everything I do is work, and there's no carrot at the end of that stick, there's no reason to keep going, there's no fun to be had, why am I doing this? So I need to remember to find that joy, just like you said. I have to go out. It's not just because I want to. I actually need to, because I've gotten off of the mindset of life is fun. I've gotten on work, and then life becomes boring. Life becomes monotonous. It becomes not really worth waking up the next morning if it's going to be the exact same with no reason to look forward to anything. So you got to have the fun.
That's
you
right.
You got to have entertainment. You got to have something that gives that spark to your day.
Absolutely. You guys have something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So
I know that sounded really fatalistic. It didn't
it
sound that way in my head. But as I was saying it, I'm like, oh, that does sound kind of.
No, it's really not. Like, man can't live on bread alone. Like, look, if like, the reason why I know, like, I personally think the lockdown stuff's going to come to an end this year. We're not going to talk about COVID in great detail here. That's not what we're going to talk about here. We're not. But I'm going to tell you why I feel that way. I feel that way because, to me, I look at the fact that we essentially are going out to work, and that's it. Inevitably, we're going to come to this point that there's got to be more than this. And we all are quietly hitting that point in our own ways, right? That's why you're going out extra. Because you're like, I got to do something. That's why I am doing this, because I got to do more. just working for, like, if there's nothing to work for, nothing to strive to, there's no joys in, like, the little joys in life, there's none of that, then I might as well just go, like, seriously, I might as well just go to a beach somewhere and go fishing, because I'm not going to get anything else out of doing this. There's just going to come a point where it's just like, it ain't worth it. And that's the thing. Like, you have to have, everybody's got to have something they're shooting for. There has to be more. And if there isn't more, then what are we doing? There's no, I mean, we can always just exist. That's the easiest thing in the world. We can do absolutely nothing. And that's essentially what and if there's no change, then it doesn't matter what we're doing. It's nothing.
Yeah. I think I was commenting with my daughter about how time has just been flying by. And the thought occurred to me that time's flying by because I have nothing to look forward to. When you have a vacation planned or a special engagement coming up, it seems to take forever to get to that because of that anticipation, that, excitement of something good is just around the corner, and that slows time down. But when every day is the same, every day you wake up the same time, you do the same chores, you do the same work, you go to bed, it blurs together and time just moves so fast. You don't feel the movement of time. You have nothing to really stop it or slow it down or make you feel each moment because you're anticipating.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, and that's why I think it's going to come to an end, because at the end of the day, I want that beer with my friend. I want to go to that rock concert again. I want to travel. I want to see and do things again.
Yep.
And one way or the other, that's going to happen. The only question is when and where. But that's a different conversation for another day, right? Let's go to this. So why don't we go to this? It's time. I think. What do you think? Do you think we have an interview here? Do you think you're good with this interview? Do you like it?
I think we did pretty good.
You think we did pretty good?
We did pretty good.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because it's important to me that you had a good time here.
Put it out to the audience. Did we entertain them?
What were we entertaining, ladies and gentlemen? Were we entertaining? I don't know if anyone's going to respond or not to that. It's been a little while since we had anyone there, but we've had people listening the whole time, so it's kind of been cool. Let's see. Yes. Well, thank you, Aya. Thank you very, very much.
All right.
Now we get to the wonderful part where
goal achieved.
So then we get to the wonderful part where Katie gets to promote why she's so awesome and possibly made a cheese. Possibly. And that is, well, we get to the wonderful part of, you get to tell people about what you do, why you're awesome. Talk about books that have come out. You can talk about the book that came out last December if you want. You talk about, your secret, dirty, romantic, secret identity, if that's what you want to actually want to do. I know, right? I've had romance. We'll go here before we wrap up. Romance writers don't get the respect they deserve. I actually will say that on the air. They don't.
Romance is one of the most popular genres.
Yes, it is.
They might not publicly get the accolades that they should, but they get the money. Romance is like the top selling genre.
Oh, I know, but if we were talking about pleasant surprises, like really, really pleasant surprises, that to me was so. Every time I mention her, it's mentioned how thankful I am for this. MJ and Colette cries just a little bit, and please don't cry, MJ. And I like you. You're great. So she had me bring my podcast to an event called Sweet and Sultry Summer. And I got to meet a whole bunch of romantic writers. They made me blush redder than a schoolboy. It was hilarious. Some of the dirtiest old women I've ever met, but
they're fun.
They're fun. So much fun and so skilled. I think there is something to be said about how what they do is an art form. What they truly do is an art form, and they are telling a story. They're fulfilling. I mean, like romance is ultimately fantasy fulfillment in some form or fashion, right? But the thing that makes it, but it's a skill set. You got to tell a great story, and they do a great job, no matter if it's clean, dirty, all these things. And if I have to go to my biggest, most pleasant surprise, every guest I've had in the romance genre. every single one of them has been a pleasure to interview, right? Because they just do cool shit. So, hey, kudos to them.
Yeah, it's a great genre to write in too. I was, no joke, I was like 7 months pregnant, big, huge belly. I was pregnant with my boy child, and he was my biggest. He was my 9-pounder. Big, huge belly, like 7 months pregnant, but I had pre-booked to go to an erotica writers conference. And so here I'm like waddling from room to room with all of these erotica writers, having the time of my life. And of course, you know, big old belly and hugely pregnant. I'm like, yeah, proof positive. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, hopefully, I mean, hopefully, anyway, sometimes it's very, very good. Sometimes
It
it's
was
very,
so
very,
much fun.
yeah.
Those ladies are the best. And in fact, I remember one of the panels that I got to sit on was for my editor at the time, who was participating in a demonstration of different ways to tie people up.
Nice.
It was so much fun. So much fun to go to.
I was nearly at that point with one of my relationships where we're getting to that point. It's been interesting. Some of them, my guests, I mean, that you are, the things you talk about on the show sometimes is just incredible, but that's another show for another day. So you want to promote your romance, you can do that here. If you want to promote your services, you can do that here. If you want to promote your Agents of Asset, because I really like that series, you promote that here. You want to promote Spilling Ink, promote that here. Hi Rebecca, hi Jay, hi Joe, hi everybody else that came and watched the show tonight from that crew. Pleasure to see us. But this is your moment.
Yeah, and not to steal your thunder, but I hope all of them follow me on Sunday, because Sundays is when I do my readings. And I've already read book 1 in the Agents of Asset series. And now we're on book 2, and we're about 30% through book 2. So you haven't missed much. For those of you who haven't heard the readings, all of the episodes are on my YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Katie Salidas. Easy to find. I try and make things very easy. If you look me up by name, you will find all of my links super easy. In fact, my webpage, everything's right on the front page. So my publishing services, right on the front page. There's an easy to click link. Email, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, it's all there right on the front page. You cannot miss it.
So like that?
That's me.
That's you. Okay, like that. And for my Facebook friends, I'll do that here, there too.
Yeah, I try and keep it simple. Just go to katiesalidas.com. The front page has all the links that you can possibly want. It also it serves as my place to share most of what I've been doing. So any recent episodes of Spilling Ink, I share there. Any recent episodes on Go and D Now that I've been on, I share there. Any recent readings I've done, I share there. It's kind of like my home base. Like I truly do use it as my home base, and it's where I operate from. It's where I send clients who are looking for any self-publishing services to go look me up. You know, social proof. This is what I do. This is what I've been doing. Here's the stuff that I've done for myself, and here's the stuff I've done for others.
All right. That is Katie Salidas, writer, editor, rock star, life coach, right, and talk show host.
Thank you.
All of those things and more. Very incredible person. Honestly, doesn't get the credit she fully deserves. Great writer, great person. Definitely, if you want to get your services done, she is definitely somebody worth looking up. As for me, thank you everybody for watching and or listening to Just Josh and the podcast. If you want to support this podcast, you can do so a couple different ways. First and foremost, there's my Twitch channel. I am literally 8 followers away from being an affiliate on Twitch. Twitch.tv/JustJoshingPodcast. Hit the follow button if you want to join in. Also on YouTube is Joshua Pantellaresco. You can find me there. Just look at my name and how you spell it and stuff. And that you can find me and that'll do it. Buy my books. Tell people about this episode or others like it. But either way, whatever you decide to do or don't do, thank you very much for listening. And I'll see you guys tomorrow as I go across the sea and meet Najema RV. It's going to be a fun show. Till then, stay shining in the dark, and I'll see you guys next time. And